Roll call.
Mayor Connie Ball,
Here.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit,
Here.
Alderman Jeff Fancher, Alderman Mike Hansel,
Here.
Alderman Bobby Knight,
Here.
Alderman Steve Smith,
Here.
City Attorney Terry Hurst,
Here.
City Administrator James Fincham.
Here.
Thank you, Tina. I personally would like to welcome Alderman Steve Smith. I was out of town last month and wasn't able to attend the meeting here, and I know he's going to be a great addition to these four other men that is working hard to make our city a better place. And welcome, and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item is the approval of the minutes, the meeting of October the 10th, 2017. You have those in your possession, an opportunity to look at them. Do we have a motion to approve them as written?
Make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Any noes? I hear none. Item 4, Proclamation Administration Month.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes.
I'd like to ask City Administrator James Fincham and his staff to join me here at the podium. You know, for the last several months, I've been getting up here and doing these various proclamations for different departments. And tonight we've reached the final one, which is our municipal administration staff. And I think this is something that's very important to have been done, and I hope we continue to do things like this in the future. I don't know if we'll go so formal next year each month with recognizing each department, but we would like to recognize them in some way when their particular months roll around. So being a city employee myself, I know that recruiting and retaining city employees is the best and most absolute thing we have to do, because in order to do that, we have to let our employees know that they're appreciated and that they're doing a fine job. So for this month, again, it's Municipal Administration Month for November 2017. Every day, citizens of Newport and people throughout our community directly benefit from the dedication and commitment of the Newport City Hall staff. The Newport City Hall staff possesses a broad array of skills and knowledge of local government that they put to use on a daily basis. Whereas the Office of the Municipal Administration is a time-honored and vital part of local government and is among the oldest public servants, and whereas the Municipal Administration provides the professional link between the citizens, the local government body, and agencies of government at a state and federal levels. Whereas the Municipal Administration have pledged to be ever mindful, to be neutral and impartial, rendering equal service to all. And whereas the Municipal Administration serves as the information center on functions of local government and our community, and whereas the Municipal Administration continually strives to improve the administration of affairs through participating in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of state professional organizations. And now, therefore, Mayor Connie Ball has hereby proclaimed November as Municipal Administration Appreciation Month and calls upon all citizens of Newport, Tennessee to recognize and further extend appreciation of the men and women at the Newport City Hall for the vital service in our community. In witness whereof, Mayor Ball has hereunto set his hand and affixed the city seal of Newport on the 14th day of November 2017. So, James, I'd like to present this to you and your staff on behalf of the rest of the Newport City Council. Congratulations.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I forgot to pick, I think, Andy made.
One thing I'd like to say, and echoing Alderman Hansel's words, it is important that you have good people. You're only as good as your people, and I think in every department, I feel like we've got good staff. We have good staff here at City Hall. Everybody is dedicated to providing the best service we can to you all, in service of the council, service of the public, and we're going to continue to be dedicated to that. I appreciate the good job they do. I couldn't achieve my goals without them doing what they do. And I appreciate them, and we appreciate the recognition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Money bunch up.
Get together. Come on, Gene, you might have been telling us.
You'll have your baby right here.
Don't try to hide behind that podium now.
Thank you.
Take Christmas off.
Yeah. And New Year's.
We'll talk about that here in a minute.
Take Christmas Day off. Take Christmas Day off.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that.
Yeah. Okay, next up, Vice Mayor Mike Profit has some kids he'd like to recognize.
We've got two groups tonight we'd like to recognize, and since there's so many of them, I'm going to probably take the golf first. Out of these two groups, we've got a cross-country team and a golf team that has gone further than any other teams in the history of Cotton County High School in the state, and that's something to be said because we've been there 100 years. Okay, Mr. Dave Perriman, I'll let you introduce yours and present them, or you can present them with a plaque for their, I want them all up here.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you all for having us
It's the
here.
prettiest group we've ever had here, too. Both groups had the prettiest group.
Yes, they're beautiful ladies. Thank you all for having us here. Thanks, Connie. Thanks for the alderman. And everybody, ladies, come on up here. Each get a trophy and bring it with you. We've had a great year. This team worked so hard to achieve these goals, and I think it's so important as a community that we support our young people. It's really a once-in-a-lifetime event for these ladies. They're in high school for one time. I'm pretty sure everybody in here was in high school at one time, or will be if you're not there yet, someday, hopefully. And to be able to celebrate them, it really shows our community and how much we're doing right. And we don't celebrate Cotton County youth enough, I don't think. We need more positive stories about young people, and this is a good story right here. They work so hard. When they play golf, normally they're out there with themselves, their parent, and 3 other kids that probably don't have a parent there. So they don't get celebrated a lot, and this is a great night, and we do appreciate that. And I think Cotton County and Newport's doing a great job of producing some of the highest quality young people, not just here, but in the state and in the nation, because our young people go everywhere and make a difference. And thank you all for having us. We were able to win the conference champion, we were the district champion, and our biggest goal was being regional champion, the first time as a team we've ever achieved that in Cotton County, and it should be celebrated. Thank you.
We're going to get a picture made. The only thing that I saw matter with these girls, the 2 of them assigned to colleges, and I was leaving before they talked to Carson Newman, but they went otherwise. They went there and prayed. We're going to pray for them.
Are they giving lessons?
Yes.
Terry, that's been you signing.
Thank you.
Thank you, girl.
Thank you all for having us.
And now we'd like to recognize our cross-country team with Coach Mark Hawk and Coach Clay Blazer. And if y'all would come up and bring you girls and tell them what accomplishment they made this year. One in particular, before we get up here and get started, Aaron Blazer is like the Fleetwood Deer. I've never seen a freshman run like she does, and all of them's got their own accomplishments, and all of them's done real well. But we've got a freshman that one of these days she'll be big time, and you'll be hearing about her in college. Maybe some of the others too.
I'd like to start out by saying there's a little story behind this team. And if you'd allow me, I'd like to tell you a little bit about it. It started back in 2011, actually, when my son, Taylor, graduated. At that time, my hips were wearing out on me, and I couldn't run with the team like I had always done for years and years. And I thought it was since he was graduating, and I couldn't run anymore. And my daughter, Sarah, who was in grade school, elementary school at that time, told me, "Daddy, I'm not going to run in high school." And I said, "Okay, that's fine, that's your decision." So I decided to get out of coaching at that time, and I was out of it for about 3 years. I never will forget when I decided to get back in it. It was about 2 or 3 days after I'd had my first hip replacement, and I was at home, and my daughter Sarah came in, and she had a piece of paper in her hand, and I, being a dad, wanted to see what it was, and I looked, and it was something about running cross country, and I said, "What is this?" She, sheepishly said, "I'm going to run cross country." And I went, after I got out of coaching, so long story short, I took the opportunity to get back into it, and that first year, which was 2015, when she ran her first year, she was the only girl we had. And 2015, if you look back at the archives of the conference meet, you'll see that Cotton County High School had a no score. You have to have 5 girls to have a team score. So in 2015, Sarah, my daughter, was the only girl that ran for Cotton County High School. At that time, I said, "Sarah," I said, I will build you a team by the time you graduate. I'll put a team together for you so that you can be part of a team," because that's what she had asked for. That's what she had asked me to do. And the next year, 2016, which was last season, our girls finished 4th. We put a team together, and our girls finished 4th in the IMAC. And this year, they worked so hard, and I'm so proud of them for coming from where we were, from where this story began, to where they ended up as IMAC runner-up, which is as high as we've ever placed in the conference. I'll qualify that by saying Morristown West is in our conference, and Morristown West girls have won 3 state championships. So we were proud to be runner-up behind former state champions. They've got a wonderful program over there. But you know what? I told the Newport Plain Talk, and I told our girls at the end of our conference meet this year, we're not satisfied with where we finished. Runner-up, we're proud of that, but we've got our sights set a little higher for next year. So I'd like to introduce our young ladies to you, starting with our freshman, Kaylee Gurley. Step up here, please. Freshman, Morgan Blazer. Sophomore, Madison Dockery. I don't know that. Junior, Katie Hoheimer. Junior, Alex Smith. Senior, Carissa Rogers. And senior, my baby, Sarah Hall. So would everybody just give them a round of applause? Okay.
All right. And I'll tell you something, these coaches work real hard too. I see Coach Blaze and Coach Hawk out all the time, and they work very hard to get these girls where they're at. And this is an individual sport. If you want to see how they do this individual, they have worked very hard. All these girls have in both sports.
President, you go have a seat.
Thank
Morgan,
you.
you stay here with
Let's
us.
get state check.
One more thing.
Okay.
Before we end, it's a team sport, and it took every one of those young ladies right there to accomplish what we did. But one of the biggest reasons why we were runner-up in the IMAC this year, probably the most competitive conference in the state in cross-country, was this young lady right here, Morgan Blazer. I'm kind of mad at her. I'm kind of upset at her. The reason being, this year, my daughter being a senior, graduating, I had told everybody, and I had planned to retire. It was going to be my last year coaching. It was going to be my last year teaching. 34 years is enough. And then she came along. And she's a special athlete. I don't think she minds me saying this. I hope she doesn't. But I feel like she's probably the best athlete in 34 years that I've had the privilege of working with. And I just couldn't turn my back on talent like that. I wanted to stick around and help guide her through. So she deserves a really, really, really big round of applause. Morgan broke the school record as a freshman. Jennifer Salzman, who most of you know at Newport Pediatrics, set the record of 20 in the 5K of 20 minutes and 1 second in 1999, and it only took Morgan a few weeks to break that. She is running 1952.
You'll be hearing about these girls again someday. Appreciate you, girls.
Okay, the next item on the agenda, a report from City Administrator James Fincham.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well,
About all I've got to talk about is holidays.
that's good.
First of all, Christmas, as you all know, city employees get Christmas Eve and, Christmas Day as a holiday, and Christmas Eve falls on Sunday. And so Monday is already a holiday, and if you all have no objections, we're going to officially observe the holiday on Monday and Tuesday this year. So if there's no objections from y'all, that'll be when the city will be observing the holiday. I spoke with all the department heads, spoke with the staff at City Hall, and that seems to be the days that'll work the best for everybody as far as scheduling and getting everything done in a timely manner.
I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
Everybody okay?
Nobody's had any problems.
The second is the Thanksgiving holiday. As you all may or may not remember, a few years back, the council approved that City Hall could close on the Wednesday before. Of course, again, we get Thanksgiving and the day after, Black Friday, as somebody said earlier, off. And City Hall staff, of course, being mostly female, they asked to be off so they can help prep for Thanksgiving dinner. And so it's hard to pick and choose who gets to take off and who don't. So a few years back, we approached the council about, as long as the staff wanted to do that, to take that as a vacation day. It's not a holiday, it's a vacation day that they have to take and be charged with. But City Hall will be closed on that Wednesday, again, unless you all have some reservations about it. We've done that for the last few years, and that was approved by council when we began doing it. So just so everybody will be aware, and again, if nobody has any problem with it.
Everybody good with that? Yeah, it's good.
The other is just and thank you.
You're welcome.
The other is just an announcement. Our annual Christmas concert at First Baptist Church will be Friday, December the 8th at 7 p.m. And certainly we'd like to publicize that, and we'll be doing more to get that out. To formally inform and to welcome and recognize and invite you all to come and say that we appreciate Rich Lloyd and First Baptist Church for once again being willing to allow us to use their church and to televise the ceremony. And every year Kelly Stokey does a great job with it. It gets bigger and better every year, and certainly we would encourage and invite everybody to attend.
Now, what time was that again, James? 7 o'clock.
Yes, sir. And that's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you, James. Okay, item 6 has a couple of items. It's a consideration of appointment of the Newport Housing Authority Board, Geneva Dalton, who is recommended. She's currently serving and is recommended by the Housing Authority to have another term. And I have the paperwork in Tina's hands that I've already signed, but I would like to let you all vote on it as well to be a part of the appointment. So all those in favor of Geneva being appointed to serve another term on the Newport Housing Authority indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Any opposed is no. I hear none. Thank you. The next board appointment is the Police Civil Service. to fill the remaining term of Steve Smith. The police department, or the police civil service, is their appointment, and they've recommended Dean Ball to finish out that term. Is that correct, James?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do we need a motion? As long as that's just for public
That's just an
knowledge?
announcement, yes, sir.
Okay.
You couldn't beat him for
No, he's a good one.
He served on it before for several years.
Right.
20, I think.
yeah, 20 years.
Okay, moving along, the next item is there a report from the Tanner Preservation Alliance?
One thing that I'll report on their behalf there, we held a kind of open house or town hall meeting last week. Gary did, and if you have any questions, you can ask Gary about it. But it was on behalf of the Tanner committee, and many of them were in attendance, and it was an opportunity for the public to come in and discuss their ideas or thoughts about the Tanner building. And from what Gary said, it went very well, and there were several people in attendance, and so there was a lot of good information shared.
Okay. Thank you. Item 8, one item, and that's a consideration of the second reading of ordinance 2017-17, the budget amendment for the city of Newport.
Mayor, I'll read the caption of that ordinance into the record. It's ordinance number 2017-17, an ordinance of amending the annual operating budget and capital program of the city of Newport, Tennessee, fiscal year 2017-2018.
Thank you, Terry. Do we have a motion to approve that item?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Under new business, item A, consideration of the first reading of ordinance 2017-18, amending the zoning map for the city of Newport from R2 medium density residential to C2 general commercial district located at Jaybird Street. Do we have a motion to approve? First reading.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item B is consideration of the first reading of ordinance 2017-19, amending the zoning map for the city of Newport from R2 medium density residential to C2 general commercial district located at Locust Street. Do we have a motion to approve that on the first reading?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item C is consideration of the first reading of ordinance 2017-20, amending Municipal Code Title 5, Municipal Finance and Taxation, Chapter 3, Purchasing Policy. Do we have a motion to approve on the first reading?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Is that amount going from 5,000
To 10.
to 10,000?
It's bringing us in line with the state and what about all cities have gone to. It's not like we're trying to plow new ground, we're just trying to catch up with everybody else.
Second.
Okay.
Mike already has, sorry.
All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none. Item D is consideration of resolution 2017-17, signature authority on the bank accounts at Newport Federal Bank.
Mayor, all this is this has to be voted on by you all to add Mr. Smith to the signature card at the bank, and so it's just a formality that has to take place so he can be added to the bank account.
Okay.
Which we have to take a copy of the minutes showing that it was done before they can add him to the
Okay.
account.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do we have got a motion and a second? Any discussion?
Has that been a smooth transition to Newport Federal?
Right.
It has.
All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. Hear none. Thank you. Item E is consideration of the purchase of a downtown property for park lot for the city of Newport.
Mayor, everyone is familiar with, but just for the public record, This is a parcel of property that is located at the corner of Woodlawn and Broadway. For many years, it's been kind of an unofficial public parking space, but the property owner's insurance had concerns about allowing people to park there, and so he blocked it off to keep from having any liability, and it put a real strain on businesses that relied on that spot, in particular Newport Hardware. And so we were approached by some of the property owners, the business owners down there, saying that this was a hardship. We were out at the last meeting. I was instructed to negotiate with the owner, Mr. Kiker, who was here. He was here, I saw him a while ago. And to try to negotiate a price. We have negotiated a price of $51,000, and that is below the appraised value. He came way off of his asking price, and we appreciate him working with us to try to get a price in place that we could work with.
Okay.
The people down there, the businesses that really said they need it bad, you know, you're talking about the beauty shops
Yes.
and all of them said it's really a very vital part.
Yes, there's several businesses on that street that rely on that parking, especially, again, Newport Hardware and the beauty shop. That's really the only places they have for people to park. Now, Newport Hardware does have a small parking area, but the owner had indicated to us that it was putting a real hardship on him because people with trailers that need to pull in there to load for material were unable to get in there, and that was really hurting his business. And a major concern was that it could lead to the closing of Newport Hardware. Now, he never said that. That's our own appraisal of that based on the things he was saying. He never said, oh, this is going to cause me to do that. He never made any kind of statement like that at all. But he said it was creating a tough hardship for him. And in these economic times, I don't think any business is booming. So I think that when you put a hardship on somebody, you're putting them in jeopardy. And so when you look, Gary's researched, looked at some options on how we can design it to look good. He's got some good ideas, and he's looked at the tax monies that those businesses pay. And so, I feel like that we do need more downtown parking as part of our revitalization efforts. We're going to have more parking even once we've added this parking lot. If we have success, at some point we're going to need more parking downtown. So this is a need for future growth, and it also meets a need for existing businesses. So my recommendation would be that we purchase the property.
And everybody's aware there is a spring over there.
Yes, we have looked at it, and we threw some ideas around, and Alderman Hansel he's got a unique idea that we kind of like about something to do with that, and make some kind of a water feature back there. Mm-hmm. There's a little corner that's recessed back into the bank where the little spring is, and we're looking at doing some landscaping back there, maybe put a picnic table and do some stuff to make it look good, and we're going to try to make it look as good as we can make it, and make it a very eye-appealing downtown, to make it a good part of the downtown project.
Okay. I know that Diana has talked to me about it, and they're willing to adopt it, so to speak, for beautification, greenery, whatever. They want to work with the city, and also the folks at Overholtz want to semi-adopt it as well. So I've had some reservations about this, but I also feel like it would affect Overholtz. Newport Hardware eventually, if we don't do something about it. There's nothing more embarrassing to see yellow tape wrapped around a parking lot in downtown like it's a crime scene. So I'm for doing this.
Okay, we have a motion to make the purchase?
Which we had nothing to do with, too.
Right.
Yeah.
I make a motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Tina, would you do a roll call, please?
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Gary?
I was just gonna, if you guys were gonna continue discussion, throw out some of the numbers. The four closest, no, that's five, the closest businesses affected pay within themselves over $7,000 a year in property taxes. We have new potential retail development, the next block over with the old, it's Leon Bryant's building. Does that thing have a name?
Giles Auto Parking.
Okay.
James Furniture.
Yeah, and they have limited parking. If it stays a parking lot for 10 years, given the number of spaces we can get, those properties those properties together would have to generate $1.16 a day per space to pay for it over 10 years. So, I mean, it's $16, I guess, if you just divide that or multiply that by 10, $16 a day in sales tax would pay for it from those businesses. So it's economically it works, even though it does look, so the people that don't understand how much things cost anymore may see it as a waste of money, but it's not, and it's in our plan. It's literally in phase 1 of the downtown plan says we need more parking, so we're meeting needs, I think. I agree with Mr. Fincham about it's a good thing. We're going to need it more in the future as much as we do now. But we voted yes, so good.
Good. Thanks, Gary.
Gary's got some concepts, if you'd like to look at them. Mr. Painter had asked Gary to put some stuff together in case y'all want to look at it tonight, but he's worked on that, some ideas on how to make it look, and we think we can get 24, 25 parking spaces in there and do some landscaping too, and
that's good.
So, but I like some of the concepts he's got that I think is going to look really good.
Okay. Okay, the next item is consideration of installing a cell phone tower.
These
Yes.
are options that the other businesses are talking about, what they need to coordinate with.
Yeah, they're wanting to work with the city recreation and Mark Hill, Tim, Mark, as far as the greenery goes, and that's something I'll work with Gary as well. I think Gary's aware of this.
Thank you.
Consideration of installing a cell phone tower.
First off, that's a typo. It is a radio tower. Several months ago, I indicated to you all that the city of Gatlinburg had given us, through surplus, a radio tower. We have, and the mayor can attest to this personally, the 911 board has been making strategic moves to try to get the radio system updated for the city of Newport and the Cobb County Sheriff's Department. Also, Chief Reagan has brought forth a project for monitoring for integrity, which would help. Once you line up your tower sites together, then the radio goes down. It lets us know in advance that we're without communication, so we can get somebody en route to start working on it. But this tower is a 100-foot tower. It's a fine tower. If you want to drive up on the Water Tower Hill and look, it's a fantastic piece of equipment. And Gatlinburg gave it to us, and the expenditures that we're wanting here tonight would supply, we're paid for having the crew take the tower apart and have a tower man actually work the tower and have it transported to Newport. So it's just one more step in modernizing our radio system for the city of Newport, as well as emergency communications for the entire Cobb County area.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Do a roll call for me, Tina, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Thank you, Over.
You're welcome, Chief.
Thank you for keeping up with
How
Bob.
much would that cost new, Maurice? Maurice, how much would something like that cost brand new?
I asked Mike Jenkins, our radio man, and he said we'd be looking at $100,000 to get that type of tower in place. So, and the cost, Gatlinburg didn't even charge us the dollar. Their city council graciously gave us the tower.
They're improving their communication there.
They just went 25 feet backwards and 100 feet taller.
I mean, anytime you can promote communications, that helps out with safety and everything else for everybody involved. It's money well spent.
There are some voids, and you all have made a great step forward in helping fill that void in the radio communications. The 911 board's working hard, I promise.
Okay, Chief, you're up on the service credit hours.
Yes, I have an employee who needs to dip into the proverbial third bucket. That employee is having a surgical procedure and has filled out the proper paperwork, sent me a letter of request to be able to get into that, and that surgical procedure is scheduled for Friday. We just need approval for that employee to dip into the third bucket.
Do we have a motion?
I make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
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 Opposed is no. I hear none.
We've helped some others before, haven't we, on this? It's really big help.
Okay, the next item is discussing of replacing the exterior doors in the council chambers.
Mayor, the doors that we're discussing are these doors right here. And we are having a constant problem with them. Basically, they're worn out. They don't want to stay latched. They don't want to close like they're supposed to. We've had them worked on several times. We've talked to the repair company about coming and working on them again. Their estimate to come to work on them right now and try to get them fixed is like $4,000. And so what we would like to do is we would like to take bids on replacing those doors and upgrading them to be an ADA compliant, because currently they are not. And so I don't see spending $4,000 more working on a set of doors. It may work for a while longer than not. It's expensive. It's crazy expensive to work on them, to replace them. But hopefully we can get it down to where it's not too bad if we can get it bid out and get a lot of interest in it. But we would like your all's permission to bid that out and go to ADA compliant.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second? Second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed is no. I hear none.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Last item is Alderman Jeff Fancher, discussion of animal shelter.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
You're welcome.
Before I talk briefly about the animal shelter, I would like to, on behalf of these guys, thank the city for allowing us to go to the governor's conference over in Gatlinburg. Very eye-opening for me. Also want to say that sitting on the last meeting that we sat in, as far as providing the tools for economic development, we're lacking there. I know money's always tight, and I sat with the Honorable Mayor of Cott County and stood up and asked a question about what we were doing in Cott County versus what the rest of the state was. And I kind of squirmed back down to my seat because we're lacking. And in the same breath, I want to say that, Lucas, your name was brought up the 2 days I was over there for the work that you're doing. It's gone well noticed across the state. And I know sometimes a lot of people think they're throwing away good money for bad. But I'm on the other side of the fence there, and I think you're underfunded. And of course, I'm not here to offer you much more money and for funds and things such as that. But I just want to say, people know what you're doing, and I know we're on the edge of getting some more things done. And I appreciate your hard work. Okay. As far as the animal shelter goes, since I took this on myself to work on behalf of the city. It's been a learning and a frustrating adventure for both us and the county. And also finding out that we're not the only ones in the area that are battling animal control issues. As a matter of fact, of course, I missed last meeting, being on hurricane relief down with Samaritan's Purse. There have been 4 more cities and counties in the state that have severed ties with each other for whatever reasons. In our East Tennessee area, Elizabethton, Kingsport, Maryville are 3 in the last 2 months that have split. I want to keep my word, and I'm not speaking on behalf of these guys, I'm speaking on behalf of Jeff Fancher. I want to try to keep my word to work to make, fortunately down here, our new facility is working like a charm. And I didn't want it down there, and I don't want it down there. I think Newport and Cott County, we should be able to collaborate and work this thing out to where we can use our current facility. From what I understand, me and none of the other city councilmen here were invited to the animal shelter re-grand opening, if you will. I don't know if why we weren't invited. Somebody's asking me for $100,000. If I'm asking somebody for $100,000, I'm going to pat them on the back and try to court them a little bit. But we weren't asked, and I didn't go. But from what I've heard from other people, they've done a great job refurbishing the place out there. And we have, as councilmen, copies the animal shelter management and service agreement, and also the animal shelters, Friends of the Animal Shelters bylaws. To me, there's some vagueness still in this. For one thing, and last night, the county, we were going to kind of match what the county did to be a team player. I think the county made a move last night of the $100,000 they are not donating, but contributing to the Friends of the Animal Shelter. They've taken $25,000 and assigned it to a rolling rescue. That's new to me, and so be it. I'm sure y'all saw the need to do that. But and this is Jeff Fancher speaking as well, I think there's still some more vagueness in this contract. For one thing, we're not going to give Friends of the Animal Shelter $100,000 at one time. We've kind of broken this thing down into $8,333 a month. And before I move forward, there's some, they hired, to me, a very legitimate treasurer who quit the next day because she said she didn't want to be a part of what was going on. We have a new animal control director out there that's not wanting to give us his resume. For whatever that's worth, I may be making a mountain out of a molehill, but I don't know who the guy is. I'd like to see who our taxpayers are going to give $100,000 to. And another thing is, I want to see the agreement between the Friends of the Animal Shelter and this new auditing firm they've hired to audit their books, because there's just too many things being said out there that there's going to be two sets of books kept, and when a formidable and reputable lady quits the next day, she's heard something or was told something that unsettled her. I want to see, do we have anything like that in our possession now of a Friends of the Animal Shelter, the auditor?
The accounting firm, no, sir. I told Mr. Brown, he spoke with me last week, and I asked him, had they hired an accounting firm, and he said they had. And he said it was some firm out of Morristown, but he couldn't remember what their name was.
Okay.
So I couldn't even tell you who they are at this point.
I said in the last two meetings, Mr. Finch was out of town, I said with Mr. Fincham and discussed it, and I think they're trying, it's hard for us to figure out each week who's in charge out there. One week you'll talk to this one, next week you'll talk to somebody else, but I believe there's a couple of ladies that are trying to make an effort. They're sort of, if I'm correct there, Mr. Fincham, they're trying to do what you've asked them to do. Is that correct?
Well, in this contract that they brought, everything that we asked for is in there, except the wording on the first year it would have to run through June the 30th. They're still putting in there a 12-month contract for $100,000. And I spoke with Mr. Hurst about that, and he said that he felt like that was easily fixed, and he was going to contact their attorney and try to get that wording changed. But that was the only thing in the contract that I had any real concerns about. But I do agree with Mr. Fincher that because the accusation has been made about the two sets of books and the resignation because of that, that does raise concerns, in my opinion. And I shared that in the meeting. As you remember, Mr. Vice Mayor, in the meeting, I shared those concerns with them in that meeting. Of course, they adamantly denied that there had ever been anything like that discussed. And of course, we weren't there. We only know what the treasurer that resigned alleged. And so I will echo Mr. Fancher's sentiments. I would like to know who the accounting firm is that they have hired, and I would like to see the contract on exactly what services that accounting firm is going to provide to them. Because as I told them in that meeting, was very adamant about, they're asking for a lot of the taxpayers' money, and it's our job to make sure that it is accounted for, that it's spent in the way it should be, and that it is not squandered in any way. And that's our obligation to the taxpayers to make sure that happens. And of course, they were very defensive and about it, and acted kind of insulted about it. But I mean, I wasn't challenging their integrity, but it does, when you have, there's been 2 treasurers that have resigned now, both of which have alleged that proper accounting procedures were not being followed. And so when that specter is out there, I think that we would be negligent if we did not address that some way.
Well, first of all, I was going to say to Coach Prophet and James, appreciate you all speaking with these people. And I thought there were people I've talked to said it was a progressive and a workable meeting, and there was progress made.
I thought so too.
And you stole my thunder a little bit. It says here that they're wanting $100,000, but to me, you couldn't do that with a fiscal year ending June 30th. So how can you offer $100,000, for a year when the year's split? So
We were very clear about that too, that couldn't be, that had to be changed, and they left that in there.
well, to finalize, I know this counties will probably vote Monday in their meeting on what they're going to do, and I'm going to try to be there for that, and I'm sure I'll get the report of what they're going to do. But I think we've almost come to a long ending to this. Not a lot of people upset, a lot of people are not going to be happy. That's just, I found out that's the way this thing works. But I hope we're going to come to a conclusion, and life can go on, and improvements have been made. And more than anything, I think we're staying a team player with the Friends of the Animal Shelter. Not got everything they want, but I think we've done right by the city. And
I believe we're making an effort too on their part of it.
I do too.
I've seen some things out of that they're making an effort to try to get everything we've asked for straightened up. And I think you'll be able to see it before long too. A lot of things been done so far but one thing, right?
Well, we need the wording changed, modified in the contract in about 12 months.
Right. Well,
And we also would like to see a copy of their budget. They showed us a proposed copy, but then when they got up and left, they picked it up and took it with them. We didn't get to keep it.
Right, another thing, if they got rolling rescue, that's probably brings in income. I would think. I don't think it'd be a break-even proposition. I'm speaking out of turn there, but they've got their expenses and the whole 9 yards. But come a long way, as they say. Come a long way, baby. But still got some. We're probably rounding third and heading home. And I kind of want to wait to see what the county does on Monday before we act on it next month.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item is item 10. There's a couple of items to consider for bids. The first one is bids for fencing of the Pet Milk Park and Fifth and Filbert basketball courts.
In an effort to beautify our park, or not new parks, at Fifth and Filbert and Pet Milk, we're going to take our 10-foot fence down to 6 foot. It'll be a vinyl covered fence, and the prices will come in at.
Shoemakers, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tina.
Shoemaker sent in for Fifth and Filbert at $6,800, and Pet Milk also $6,800. And Stem Bridge sent in for $11,600 each for each park. So almost.
Our recommendation is to go with Shoemakers.
We only received 2 bids.
Yeah, for 2 bids. And it's for the materials, correct? Yes. For the materials only.
I like shopping at home, but I also like half the price of the other one.
Is there a specific reason going to 6 foot, Brandon?
Not particularly, no. Save money.
And you can get across the 10 foot as easy as you can 6 foot. And there's plenty of distance from the goal post or the out of bounds line to the out of bounds or to the fencing. People say, well, it'll bounce over a 6 foot fence. There's plenty of room. It won't bounce.
We got room on all 4 sides.
I was kind of skeptical about, this was brought up about revitalizing Pet and Brighttown, but there's been more people say stuff to me about glad you're all turning that dirt and revitalizing that. So
it's visibility. It's the biggest.
Do we have a motion to approve the recommendation of the bid?
Motion to approve.
Second. Got a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff
Yes,
Fancher.
ma'am.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Okay, the next,
See what y'all done to clean this place up.
Thank you so much.
looking good. Bids for playground equipment for Bryanttown Park.
This one is through Game Time Manufacturing. The Cooper Nortz Group is the Game Time certified installer, and they will be installing the equipment, the borders, and all the safety and the playground equipment at Bryanttown. And of course, the U.S. Communities is the buying program that we would like to buy that program through. So, go ahead.
That is a qualified program that we can piggyback off of, which means we don't have to bid. It's like a government bid. So you can vote, and it is at $19,999, which is in the budget for this equipment.
Do we have a motion to approve?
Approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Jeff Fancher.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderman Bobby Knight.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Mike Profit.
Yes.
Bryanttown gonna be lit up.
Bryanttown's what we talked about. Gary and I have discussed the shoeboxing LED lighting as far as pedestrian, but as far as athletic lighting, we don't think that we need to light that because there's not a way to monitor it, which it'll be on the sensors, the daylight. And plus, we've also discussed some additional lighting in our city part of the LED due to where people can sit and be seen. We feel like there's some darkness out there that we need to try to light up. And especially, we're still closing that park at dusk. Dusk is, in the summertime around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And of course, there is some neighbors pretty close by there that will help us also monitor that, because you can just imagine if they're over there playing basketball at 11 o'clock at night, the phone calls that's going to come through either Tim or through the police department. So it is a concern.
Is it one gate in and out
As far as
at Bryanttown?
At Bryanttown, what we've looked at, and of course the vision is cutting the road for parking down to the basketball court, pavilion, playground area, restroom, where we would like to eventually get to. And what we've talked about, and I don't know if, I've been to a lot of campuses in the last 10 years, collegiate-wise. Fencing is not aesthetically pleasing to communities anymore. It's open green space. If we try to fence that whole property in, we're looking at probably $20,000, $25,000. But what we want to do is not have vehicle traffic in there, but it will still be an option to close the gate for vehicle traffic to get down to the basketball court, into the pavilions, and to the playground, which it closes at dusk. But it's only going to be one way in, one way out. But we do have to border the property so that people can't just take a four-wheeler or a truck off into the properties and just destroy everything. So there's a lot of posts that are out there that you can put in, wooden posts, metal posts, and of course we want to make it aesthetically pleasing to that community too. And like you said, 7 years ago, that's a starter home neighborhood now for us here in Newport. There's a lot of young families that bought houses, a lot of small kids, and the playground that we're putting in is geared to that 12 and under. I mean, it's not going to be anything like you did at the city park, with the new wave playground equipment we did there. But it's going to be very adequate. A lot of grandmothers up there keeping small kids are going to be able to come over there and use that equipment. That target range is from that 12 and under. So it's going to be exciting for us, the work that's already been done through the street department and what we've been planning, and hopefully that it's going to be used and it's going to be more visible, because that's what James has asked us to do, is find a way to thin out some of the undergrowth so that it's more visible coming from Cosby Highway down. And it's an exciting job for us right now. It's a project that I've always told James that if you keep us a project, our men always stay happy. so they're not repetitiously doing the same thing every day. So James has made sure to keep us hopping. We have a lot of different projects.
I've heard comments about the pride and stuff they beginning to have up there, the people up in Bryanttown for what y'all done. And I'd like to I say this about every week, but all the department heads, the fire, the city, or the street department, the recreation department, all these departments, y'all done excellent with what you've got to work with and stuff. And if the people that work for the city said, we really appreciate you for trying to get them some stuff to work with. And
Well, the good thing is that you give us an opportunity. You took the pride in improving our satellite facilities. Pet Milk is one of those properties that's probably our second most used park, other than when school's in session. Then you got Kiwanis, which is the NGS, what we call the NGS Sports Complex. So, with what you're giving us to do and putting a staple back on these communities, I'm going into my 24th year. This is the first time ever that we've had a chance to do something with our community playgrounds that are in the communities. And you don't know what that means to us as a department, but us as taxpayers. It's something that's going to be there that you're going to drive by every day and have an opportunity to use. It's just amazing. The times is good for us right now, and we really appreciate it. And I hope I answered your question.
You did.
Thank you.
I think it's a smart idea, and it'll really enhance the image of the city as well.
Yes. We want to be your face. Parks and Rec. We want to be your face for what we're doing right there. And of course, it's some of you guys have talked to me, and Mr. Fincham's vision, and Gary's, and mine, and Virginia's, and Mark's, and everybody's had something to put into this park. So, especially the street department, because Rick came up with a plan, because we were worried how we were going to be ADA accessible to get from the parking to the pavilions to the playground. And Rick says, I've got this piece of equipment, I can do what I need to do. So he come in there with a vision and made it happen. So
thank you.
The compliance was a big part of it.
Work on the splash pad.
That's right.
These kids want water.
Just to throw out there, and we have had a ton of positive feedback on the revitalization of this park. As Tim said, it's sat idle for over 20 years. It's just been a green space. We've mowed it, and you all, we were able this year. It's been on our list, our bucket list of things to do for several years. But only this year were we able to, once we got some other projects behind us, were we able to move that up to where we could start doing some things with it. And it has been a priority for us. It was just we had to wait till we had the money to do it. And also, it made me think about it when Tim mentioned there, and to go along with some other things that you all have authorized us to do is the purchase of equipment. Well, the street department was up there for close to 2 weeks, reshaping the contour, cutting the road in, using heavy pieces of equipment, several heavy pieces of equipment that the city owns, most of which have been bought in the last few years because the old we had was worn out. And without that equipment, we could not have done this project. In order to do this project, we would have had to hire some construction company to come in and do all of this earth moving with their equipment, and we could not have afforded to do it. If we hadn't had the equipment to do the work ourselves, we could not have afforded to move forward with this project. So once again, I think it's a testament to what you all have been willing to take on and do, and it proves the need for this stuff. Without you got to have the stuff to work with if you're going to do the job, and if we hadn't had that equipment, this project would not be moving forward, because we just couldn't have afforded to have done it. But since we could do it ourselves, we're able to do it.
Okay, next item, the floor is open for citizens' comments. Anyone want to make comments? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Well, I think Linda had something to,
Yes, sir, thank you.
She didn't raise her hand high.
I saw her eyes ready.
You did? Sorry about that.
It's okay.
5 minutes.
I was waiting to see if anybody wanted to go
Yes,
first.
okay.
I'm Lou Ann Ballou, and I'm running for Circuit Court Judge in the Republican primary, May 1st, 2018. A Circuit Court Judge presides over civil and criminal cases including jury trials, here in Cocke County, as well as Jefferson, Sevier, and Granger counties. I have 10 years of judicial experience, during which time I served Cocke County as child support magistrate for our district. I'm also experienced in civil and criminal litigation, including jury trials, from my time in private practice and as an assistant public defender. Currently, I'm practicing law, serving clients mostly right here in Cocke County. I graduated from Jefferson County High School, Carson Newman College, and UT Law School. I want to work for you as your next circuit court judge. And I'm here tonight asking each of you for your vote and your support to elect me as your next circuit judge. And thank you so much for letting me come here tonight to introduce myself.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, is tonight that Justin's piece, Justin, was it last night?
It was last night.
James, tell people what that was all about, very quickly. I think this is national news, so.
On Channel 10 originally, I think, as a local story, but the national news, Lester Hope picked up on it, and he came in, and it's where the little 4-year-old boy that lives near grammar school took up with school resource officer Sergeant Justin Vinson, and he's kind of taking him on as his sidekick, and he dresses up. He's got a little police uniform and a safety vest and little traffic cones, and every day he goes out and stands in his yard and directs traffic. And so it is cute. And I think it was a good, I shot him a text last night after I saw it and told him it was a good PR piece. You see so much now that puts police officers in a negative light, and certainly some of them put themselves in a negative light. They're not all perfect. They make mistakes, and sometimes they make dumb choices. But I do think it's important to also show the other side of that, and I thought that was a good PR piece. I thought that was national exposure for Newport and the Newport Police Department, and I thought it was a good thing, and I was glad that it happened, and I was proud of Sergeant Mitchell.
Justin did good on TV. Justin.
Tim?
I wanted to add, and because I didn't mention it, is that Christmas lights that we have in the downtown area starts tomorrow. They're going up, so be aware of that we'll start putting Christmas lights up, and all of them will be up the Friday before the Christmas parade.
Okay.
So there's quite a few of them.
Thank you, Tim. We have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
So let it be. Anybody against it?